guys. Thanks for tuning in to the show tonight, and let us know if you have any other questions. If you got any questions about reconing or about products or box design, contact our tech support department. They can absolutely help you out with it. But be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the show.
All right, take care, guys.
Is the show over already? Is it ready for Living Now with Dandy and the after show?
Yeah, Wiz. Actually, it is. This is the after show of the UnMasked show. They just showed you how to recone everything. I didn't realize the Marine ones did it, but it makes sense, man. When you play it loud, you might need to have a backup just in case ready to go, and you could do it in a few minutes. But hey, I hope you guys had fun watching the show. Make sure you hang out for this, and if you have any questions, let me know. But without further ado, let's kick this off.
So we're kicking it with Andy, right? You know what that means. We living loud.
Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight, man. It's always a blast doing these shows. You know, man, recones. You know, I feel like that is one of the best things going for Kicker in the SPL game. Not even just what they can handle, how loud they get. It's how fast you can fix them.
Livin Loud with Andy.
I want to show him this first.
Wait, what? Yes, this is awesome, but I was gonna wait till the end of the show to show this, but Brian Townsend got a kicker tattoo, and it is real. Would you look at that? That is awesome. I haven't even done that yet. Yet. Kayla's going to kill me. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the after show, the Unmasked after show. I hope you guys had fun hanging out with Carlos and Jacob. Hey, they did well. I think the other guys are on vacation, hanging out at the beach, and that's what I'm going to be doing very soon here. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks until July 26th. I will be back. So this is going to be the last show until then. I hope you guys hang out, share this to your friends, and let's just kick it off one more time. Thanks for hanging out. Jay, appreciate you for being a member for 8 months. And if you guys haven't noticed, I got a little ticker on the bottom there. It shows how many members we have currently. Thank you so much for your dedication, man. Team Green for the win. Thank you, Baba. I appreciate all that you do, sir. And, man, this guy, it's Baba. Boom goes Baba. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. You know, LLwA, he's using VPNs. He's trying to win where he can't, but we're going to ship him an L7X one of these days. One of these days. What's going on, Dusty? What's up? Thanks for hanging out. Hope you're doing well. And I'm not going to say I convinced him to keep his kickers, but he is keeping his kickers. That's awesome. Thanks for hanging out, man. Let's see. A tattoo on each cheek. Yes, LLwA. That sounds great. And Cornut already gifted memberships.
Bass hitting hard. Yeah, yeah. Turn down for what? Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Cornut. I appreciate you for gifting a membership, and thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I hope you're doing well out in the Pacific Northwest. You know it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. It should update there in a little bit. It says 60 seconds. We'll see how quick that is. But thank you for testing that, Cornut. Uncle Bobby B, we got to roll the clip.
Uncle Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B.
Uncle Bobby B just won 3rd place tonight on the Unmasked show. That's how you know it's a little rigged. Congratulations, man. And thank you for your dedication to Kicker and what you do, man. Hanging out in Disneyland. Appreciate ya. Let's see here. Caboose on the caboose. Hey, it makes sense if you don't think about it. Appreciate you, Kyle. Appreciate you. I will be glad when I'm officially Team Green with a green name. Hey, you will be, sir. Actually, you know what? I do have that up here. And, yeah, you're not on the green team yet, sir. Hey, you might get one by a gifted membership. Man, they're all popping up now. They're all popping up. And, BT, that's awesome. That is so cool. Getting that tattoo on there, man, that is insane. Would you look at that? Just look at that. It's real, folks. It is real. I love it because it's the Solo logo for the Solo Barrack. Just Kicker. It's awesome, man. And kudos to you, sir. Kudos to you. And look at that. Brian BT's gifting the memberships now. And W has become a member. Would you look at that?
Bass hitting hard. Yeah, yeah. Turn down for what? Okay. Yeah, yeah.
That clip gets me every time, man. Yeah, yeah. I love it. Thank you, Brian, for gifting the memberships. I feel like I'm a little hot on the mic tonight. Hot too. Man, it's just, I'm happy to be here tonight. And it's going to be weird not going live for 2 weeks. I don't think I've went that long. Ever. That's the longest I've went. Heading down to Myrtle Beach, so I'm going to miss you guys, but I'll keep in contact. Hey, who knows? Maybe I'll do a green team only live stream at the beach or something. I don't know. Just to say hello and I miss you guys. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you for gifting those members. Appreciate you, sir. B. Andy, only first one once. Oh, yes. That was his first tattoo too, man. That is crazy. You mean that you got the rigging contest first one. So okay, that's what you meant. I gotcha. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you. Congrats to Uncle Bobby B. We gotta throw up the pennies. Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, that's popping through. Let me know if you guys can hear that. Bass, I love you.
I got pennies.
Thank you, Jay Shipes. And man, I appreciate you hanging out and your questions. I think you were the one that I was talking to about the quad box being tuned to 31. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it is tuned to 31 hertz. It's not that, oh man, it's tuned to 31 and it just loves to play 34, and it depends your vehicle and how all that stuff works. But they do get loud along all those frequencies above 31. It does fall off pretty drastic after 29, 28, but that's kind of what a port does, and just physics and all that fun stuff. But yeah, in my Pilot, in a bigger vehicle, it likes to play, I would say, the loudest. Windows down about 40 to 49 hertz. Windows up is a different story. It seems to just not unload, and it just kind of works really well all the way down to 31. And it's like you can feel that pressure on your ear, and the meter reflects that too, man. It's not as a big bump as it would be Outlaw, but it still will play those lows better. And that's how I know it is really tuned to 31. It's not, above 40 hertz or anything like that. Appreciate you, Jay, and thank you for the penny, sir. What's going on, car audio enthusiasts? Keep up the content, man. Appreciate that you're here, and keep helping those guys out. Let's see. We got 35 of you guys in here tonight. Look at that. The member 73. Okay, so it is working. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? I said, you know what? Who cares about all the views? How many are bots? We don't know. I like the membership. It shows you guys all your dollars that are pushing towards it and bringing more people to actually stay as a Green Team member and supporting the channel. It keeps this show going. Thank you so much, guys. Ashy, what is up, Ashy? Thank you for tuning in, man. Hope you're doing well. I did update everything on the top for the Patreons and the Green Team, until now. But once you're on the Green Team for a whole month, your name will be on the top of the screen here. Thank you, Ashy, for all that you do. What's going on? Shoop Dog. Shoop Dog. I always do it. I like the Shoop Dog, Snoop Dogg. You know what I mean? Thank you, Brian. Oh, would you look at that? He must have got that membership from Brian Townsend. Would you look at that? That is awesome. Hey, that's why I think it's cool. Just YouTube does that. Andy, real question. Do you see guys relocating to Oklahoma and working for Kicker? Do you see you guys relocating to Oklahoma and working for Kicker in your future, man? Bobby, you might as well just ask, will I marry you? That's a big question. To me, it's always been in the back of my mind, and the more that I do this, it becomes more of a reality, and it has to, not that it doesn't make sense, but it's a big life decision. I love Pittsburgh, PA, but Oklahoma is pretty sweet down in Stillwater as well, and whichever way life guides me, I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go with the flow. And you know what, I probably would fight for that too, just because it's something that I would love to do. And like John says, if you love what you do, is it really a job? Is it really working? That would be a blessing for sure if that ever did come to fruition. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you, man. And it's not that I looked at it, but I definitely did. 15-hour drive, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Dave!
Just hit the like.
Just hit the like! With a $20 super chat.
Everybody is interested in this kicker in 2024.
Thank you, Dave. I may not be green. However, I do like to encourage people to hit the like, and that's what he does. Thank you so much, Dave. I hope you and your family are doing well. And, man, I appreciate you all the years that you've been here, like a few others as well, from day one practically. And it means the world that you're still here. It really does. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you. And thank you for your donation, your super chat. And smash the like, guys, like Dave said. Let's see here. We got 14 likes, 26 viewers on YouTube. That's not enough. Come on, guys. Smash that like. Well, Rudy liked it on Facebook. I guess that can count as one. We'll see if it goes up. But thank you so much, Dave. Appreciate you, buddy. Kyle says he wants to work there. He's an hour away and would relocate if I had the opportunity. You know, Stillwater is a town that I could see myself living in because it's not a big city. I don't know if I could live in a big city. I wouldn't want to live in a big city because people drive like yams. There's no parking. There's no land. I like a lot of that. And, you know, I think Stillwater does have that. It definitely does. And it's not even just about location, but it does have a point to it. It definitely does. Let's see. I'm doing okay, Bubba. Doing AC work. Okay, awesome. You know, I'm just happy you guys are here now. I know the attendance was a little low on the UnMasked show. It is like 90 degrees up here in Pittsburgh. It's like hot. And it's not too humid. It's been humid. And I know you guys are enjoying your summer. And, you know, me going on vacation, taking 2 weeks off, it works. It definitely works because I know you guys are enjoying your like bonfires, hanging out, going to car shows, or just taking walks at night. You know, it's beautiful out, and I just appreciate you guys are here tonight. And man, thank you. Let's see. If you guys had any questions about the Recone stuff, I know it's really easy with Kicker. That's the difference between reconing and a drop-in Recone from Kicker. Because when you're like just reconing, you're gluing and you're shimming, and you know, it's all manual per se. This is all automatic. Click, clack, you're loaded, ready to go with the next one. And you don't have to pour your flint into your barrel. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that easy. And I feel like that's not the reason why I got into Kicker. But knowing that that was an option, like when I first had the Solo X back in 2011, 2012, I think it was like literally like February 2012 that I got the Solo X18. For the first like 3-4 years, I didn't even know that I knew it was a thing because I tried buying one, but I never took it apart. I never knew how easy it was with that spare. And with that being how it was till this day and running it till now, how easy it is to drop in a new one. Now, the newer one is a little bit more difficult than the old L7X, the old Solo X, than the L7X that's over here. That one requires shimming. The other one was just like a point set thing. It just slid right over, and that was it. And more tolerance issues, less, I don't even know what you want to call it, a bigger gap a little bit. Now they're going for a tighter gap, even more so that you get better power delivery, you know, just with the magnetic field and how a speaker works. You have a larger gap. It's not as efficient, I guess that's the right word. It's just not going to create that power. You're going to have a little bit less power than you could with the same motor with a smaller gap. There's a lot of other physics involved as well, too, but still, so they had to change some things. So whenever you put it in there, you can do it without error. You know, even the old one, if you weren't careful and you screwed it down too tight on one side, it'd start popping out on you. And that's the last thing you want, is a coil that is rubbing. So with the L7X and all the other stuff, they have like shims in there. You know, the little metal Chinese acupuncture. They were asking about the gauge size wire. And my opinion on that is it's probably like 28 gauge or something very small. But I feel like if you would use anything that is that length, say you lose them, I know somebody's going to make or find something that's a replaceable thing, because just like how these cones became non-existent anymore, people started, you know, rebuilding them manually, or, you know, just doing extra stuff. People were nuts. And that's a good thing. It's the community, man. And that's what Kicker does see, is what they do. So then they start doing stuff like that as well. You know, and just they take that into account of their next product and what they're going to sell and how they're going to sell it. So with that being said, I feel like you probably could, like down the road right now, just ask Kicker. They got them. But if it ever would come to it and you wanted to make your own, I feel like anything that is magnetizable or magnetic, and small enough to go in there and that the coil goes over, that's going to get you the result that you want, because that's what those shims are meant to do, is to literally just keep the coil straight. It's to literally keep it straight. And if you put something too big in there, it's not going to go over it. Too small in there, I feel like it's still going to guide it, but maybe not enough. So you're going to have to mess with that. I seen that question and I was like, man, you know, there are ways, but right now, just call Kicker. If you lost yours, give them a call. They'll send you one. But whenever you buy the L7X drop-ins, they come with it. They do come with it. All right, let's see. What did I miss here? I don't know. Not sure. I'm not sure. Not sure. I'm not sure. You know, with stuff coming overseas, things are just bound to happen. Things are bound to happen. Things are bound to happen. Only 112 degrees, Brian. Man, that is insanely hot. I'm sweating right now, and it's like 69 degrees in here, but it's like where? On the top, maybe not so much. It's probably like 75. But still, enjoy your summer, guys. Enjoy it. I know you will. William. Well, would you look at that? Would you just look at that? It's Livin Loud with Andy, kicking it, Kicker, UnMasked after show. Look at it. You see that right there? Rockstar. Always thank you for all that you do. And thank you, William. Appreciate you, man. And NGA for the win. Go check them out. Links in the description. Wireless BassKnob. I'm sure he'll send you one. He'll send you one. Give him a buzz. Thank you for hanging out, William. I appreciate you. And all the show sponsors every week, man. You guys are awesome. And one I do need to work on with is Sparked Innovations. I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but see if we could do something for you guys as well that tune in and hang out. I know you guys like Sparked Innovations. It's awesome. Let's see here. What's going on, CJ? What?
Ding, 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 ding. Fries are done.
Thanks for tuning in, CJ. Appreciate ya. Hope the fries are doing well. Don't overcook them down there. I know it's a little hot down in Georgia. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Let's see. Kibo. What's going on, Keebs? Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you guys. You know, even with the other stuff that they did, because it wasn't just the L7X, they also did like the Street Series, which I never tore apart, which is pretty cool how it's dummy proof. You can't put it on backwards, you know, because they know people are going to do something like that. You know, I've done stuff where it's like, you big dummy, and they know general population's going to do that a little bit more than Livin Loud with Andy. So they make sure that it is dummy proof and safe, and it's going to work out great for their product. It's really cool how they do that. Now, with everything, I know I've seen other questions of people saying, hey, what about the Comp Q or other things? It has to make sense. You know, not every guy that goes into Best Buy or their local stereo shop that buys this, you know, Kicker Comp Q or L7Q or even an L7S, even though, you know what I mean, they're not going to blow their stuff more so. And it has to make sense price-wise, because whenever you make a product that does have a drop-in Recone, that's a lot of money and time and just testing that is also put in the product to reflect on the price later and for just material costs. So it has to make sense. Now, I feel like, you know, maybe with the L7S, possibly, but even then, man, you know, the L7R, it's like for $329. Could you make a drop-in for $150? It's not going to be that big of a price difference as it was with the L7X. That's like $749 or $699. The drop-ins are $200. So it makes more sense there rather than buying a whole entire L7X. And just like I said, of how they designed the woofer, you know, it's got to be done a little bit different, and the price is going to reflect that. Would you rather have a drop-in Kicker, L7 normal or R or S, whatever have you, Q, and the price be $50 more on every size, but then it's reconeable? Is that going to be perfect for everybody? Maybe not. Maybe not. Appreciate you guys that are hanging in. We got 18 likes on YouTube. Come on, guys, smash the like, you know the thing. No, I appreciate you hanging out with me. And yes, it does matter, Wood. Appreciate you. Right on, not sure. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. I like the BMX bike. What's going on, Mr. Blake? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. And thank you, Dubby, for liking on Facebook. You guys are awesome. Kicking butt. Thank you, Brian Townsend, for the gift of membership. Would you look at that? Thank you, Jeff, for tuning in, hanging out with us tonight, man. Another awesome guy right there. They are alignment tools. Yes, they are alignment tools. with the Chinese acupuncture and just how they're kind of designed. They do make it dummy proof with a lot of stuff, especially the STs. I know with the L7X, I mean, you can't really mess that up either, but you just got to put in those shims correctly. That's all. And then they didn't mention you do have to torque down those bolts when you put it all together, and after you're tightening it down, 20 pounds of torque on each bolt. I know Carlos goes by Ugga with a power drill. I mean, it works, and it's kicker quality, so it's not like it's just going to snap. But still, I don't know. Long term, I would do it by hand like Carlos and Jacob did tonight. I was just looking at it. Just look at it. Then I just hit the like. Would you look at that? We got 22 now. That just went up 4. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you, William. Appreciate you, man. Hello, kicker friends. Where them explode bucks at? I was just waiting for a reason to throw that up. It's been a while. I need to look at that video once in a while. I definitely do. I liked with both of my accounts, man, rookie numbers, man. I know some of these guys, they got like 8, 10 accounts, but I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in again, Jen. Hope you are doing well. Yes, that was off the hook. Off the hook. All right, cool. So, where should we go next with the show? You know what? I thought I put that in there. Maybe I didn't. I didn't. Okay, cool. So, actually, I did. Would you look at that? So, I did have 2 things to go over. I mean, if you're in Kicker Club, you already know. Wait, we need, 4, 1. There we go. And, bada bing, bada boom. Can we do that? That works. Cool. Kicker build of the week, man. Old school Solo X is here. And I want to get it where you can see it. Now, that's about as close as you're going to get. The port is on the very top there. I had a better picture. I clicked the wrong one, but you get the idea. 2 Solo X18s in a flat wall. And I don't know if I think those are capacitors. I don't think those are the amplifiers. They look like Stinger capacitors. Quote me if I'm wrong, but either way, awesome build, Richard. Appreciate you, man. And just old school as old school can get. I love them Solo X's. And we did just hit 56,000 members on Kicker Club, which is awesome. And this build is beautiful with 4 L7Rs, KXA, 400 point, I think it's an 800.4, and then I think 4 800.1s. I can't tell for certain. Need to take a better look at it. It's like you can almost tell what it is. I think it's either 400.1. Yeah, those look like 400.1s, and then maybe a 400.2 or not an 800 point. I don't know. I'm gonna have to take a look at that, because the only ones that I've had was the 2400s and the bass. I feel it, and that's from Dubby. That's from Dubby. Thank you, Dubby. Solo X Bucks right here. Annie's love ya, bro. Chacho. Also, I drew Big Jeff a 6 times still circle. I mean, squares. That's why squares are so much better. I'm just leaving it there. They just got more surface area. The shape is just cooler looking. It's a little edgy. I don't know, man. It's my thing. Thank you, Dubby. I appreciate you. And thank you for the Solo Explode bucks. I mean, it is the after show. This is my last one until July 26th. So we're going to have fun here. I need to find Dubby's photo that he shared on Kicker Club. This one is great. There it is. There it is. Let me pull this up. This is phenomenal. Would you look at that? There it is. The Solo Explode. By right here. That thing is beautiful, Dubby. I mean, can you make me one too? Can you make me one too? I love it, man. The guy has, he's got some skills and enough to pay the bills. Thank you, Dubby. It is hip to be square. That's bottom line. Bottom line. Thank you, man. Andy, check your text. Check out the new Q class sub. I could take a look at it. She sent me something here. Let me save these so I can pull them full screen on the camera here. And I need to move here, move there, move here. Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Okay, so Q power, Q comp instead of comp Q. Ew, that's so different. And 4 ohms, 600 watts. Oh, wait a minute. That is not a kicker. That's a quicker. What is that? What? I need that. That is great. You look at the art. Even the art looks just like the kicker background of the 03 CVRs and stuff around that era. And then the front, it looks the same. It really does. It really does. Did Dubby just drop another one? You show the explode, I'm dying. Man, you know, Dubby, this guy, he does all the artwork for... Oh, that's really... Man, let's just zoom in a little bit closer here. How about that? Is that better? Dubby does all the artwork for me, and very talented, and he has some fun on the side. Don't blame the guy. And between that and the gold letter L7X, I mean... Yeah, anything's possible. You put it in front of Steve Irby's desk enough, he might just take a look at it. You know, that's how you got to look at it. He will. But does he do it? We don't know. I don't know about a Solo X one, but hey, you never know. Maybe you might see something like Ashley showing here, man. You know, that's... You might see it. You might see it. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate you, man. Let's see. Keep going back there like I got too much here. Okay, I did want to talk to you guys. The ones that did respond, make sure no one's address is really there. The ones that did respond to the email, I got your package. It's going to be sent out tomorrow. So if you want to respond to the email after that, I'll see if I can get them out. But it's definitely going to be after vacation for the Livin Loud Andy giveaway. Now, I get questions a lot too with the Kicker UnMasked show. What do you do whenever you win? And you just got to wait for an email from Kicker. It's probably going to be Kicker, social at Kicker, Gmail account. I'm not too sure. I never won on the UnMasked show. Rigged, of course, not in my favor. And just keep an eye out for a Kicker email. Maybe check your spam. But either way, make sure you guys just take a look at it. They're sometimes behind. Sandy does the best she can with getting out the prizes for the Kicker show, and everybody else that's involved. I know that's not just a one-person job. Thank you, Kicker, for doing that for us. They don't have to. I mean, I know majority of you guys would tune in anyway without winning the stuff, but it's something nice, a little nod to us. I appreciate them for that. You sure as heck should 3D print a dust cap like that. Oh, the Solo X one. I mean, that is pretty... Oh, where's it at? That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. You know, I don't even know how many watts that got. 600, maybe? I don't know. We're going to need the high res. I mean, Sony Explode, though, am I right? I feel like everybody had them. They were also... in my opinion, when me and John here, that's on the screen, got into car audio, Sony Explodes were like, man, if you had a Sony Explode, how many watts did it have? Oh, did you have the 1100? Did you have the 1300? Did you have the 600? You know, was it the Pentagon? Was it Circle? Whatever have you. The bottle cap. They were a subwoofer to have. Not like nobody could get them. Anybody could get them, but you had to fork up a little bit of cheese, and they definitely worked, man. They just subwoofers back then. It's not that you can go wrong today, but I feel like back then it's just, you know, there wasn't these big, heavy, inefficient woofers. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything more. But they definitely worked. They definitely worked. Papa's dying. I mean, this is Livin Loud with Andy. It has a lot to do with Kicker, but I mean Dubby. And it's an L7X. I mean Solo X. I mean, oh man, Sony Explode X. I don't know. Oh man. Let's see. You are a parakeet. Who is a parakeet? That's a slicker. I mean, it is pretty cool looking. It makes you want to look at it. It's awesome look. It looks real. That's the thing. It looks like that is a Solo X Explode. Solo Explode. Solo Explode. Oh my God, that's it. Solo Explode. Was that? That's what he called it. That's it. That's it. I love Dubby, man. We think a lot alike. We definitely do. Kicker, kicker, kicker. He's throwing out all the fancy emojis you guys get when you're part of the Green Team YouTube membership program, and we get to look at them. Actually, I'm a little bit behind there, but there they are right there. Thank you, Elias, for tuning in again, and I need to add more. Yeah, I just like spicing a little bit here and there as much as I can, you know. Not overdoing it, you know. Gotta have fun with it. I heard it's 3 million RMS. Wow. This right here is 3 million RMS. You know, I believe it. How many milliseconds? I don't think Parker testing it. I don't know if it's going to handle it, man. I mean, I don't know. How about a K behind it and call it a Kicksplode? Kaplode. I like that too. Kaplode. Man, you know, you got to have fun with this stuff. You do. I appreciate all you guys hanging out. There's one that takes 108 volts plus. Still have a 12 in my stash. Sony Explode, very good sounding sub still. You know, I wish I don't have a single single Sony Explode. Sorry, I'm just used to saying solo. I gave them all away. Traded them, sold them. And now it's like I don't get rid of anything, but, well, if the right trade's on the table, but it's like very rare that happens. Just because I wish I would have held on to some of those older ones. And they worked, man. They definitely worked. That's cool. You still got one. Let's see. My friend has been rocking Explodes for 13 plus years. Hey, you know, they work. Like I said, you know, I would consider it in Kicker comparison is like maybe like a Comp R. You know, like you're not going to get a Sony Explode that's got 1,000 RMS. Sony is so big. If I say Sony too many times, Sony Entertainment's going to come and try to monetize this show. You know, they own everything. Music, just TVs, electronics, subwoofers is just, there you go. We make them. Let's see. Solo Explode patent pending. Hey, I mean... Okay, Andy, there's no Recone Kit for the Solo Explode because it never blows up. Mind blown. All right. So I guess you got one up on Kicker with that now. I mean, if you can't blow it up, who needs a Recone? That is a point. And just in general, man, you know, I haven't blown up one of my L7Xs yet, you know, and the STs. Not that you can Recone the 7s or 9s, but even if you could, the 1.5s, the 2s, the tweeters, if you run your stuff the way you should, you'll never have an issue. Eventually, maybe 10, 15, 20 years down the road, stuff's just going to give up. It's called just, you know, physics, the world. It makes everything just go back to a yucky state, you know, just rust and deterioration and all that fun stuff. But if you keep it climate controlled, it might last forever. And then, you know, spiders sag. If you got a woofer, it's, you know, firing up all the time and it's just going to start sagging down. And, but other than that, it can last, quote, forever, you know, pretty much. And, if you don't blow it up, you won't need a Recone. But, man, there's times when you get a little too heavy on a song, you know, and it's just with subwoofers, just because it's getting louder doesn't mean it can handle that, and you might not be able to tell until it's too late, and then it's not even just that initial problem. It's over time. eventually you're going to run out of resin. And then nothing's going to hold on to that coil. And then the coil either slides off or it just burns. It just burns. It'll burn. You'll start gassing in the inside of the former because it just gets so hot. It gets so hot, it can't... The heat has nowhere to go, and it gets trapped below the first coil that's wrapped on the outside of it, because you got dual voice coil, one inside, one on the outside, yada yada, and that heat can't get outside from that inner coil, and it goes through the former, and then when it goes through the former, it starts to bubble up. It's like the microwave butter effect. That's kind of how they call it and try to describe it. And that can make your coil go too without it even falling off, just because then you start to wear on that former inside the inner pull piece of the motor, and you just break it on the inside rather than the outside of the coil that you can actually see. You pull it out and it looks fine. You flip it over and you look at the former and you're like, oh, what the heck, man? I got a few of these, so I figured I could just look at these, you know. But yeah, like I'm saying here, might be able to see it. Let me move my drink here. We got proper light here or no? Probably on this side. No. No, I'm not going to have proper light with this, am I? Because the light's right above me. And it's pretty dark in there. You can't see. You can't see in it. But this way, nope. Can't even see in there. But still, the damage would be on the inside here. And that's where it would gas up that you wouldn't be able to tell. And with the L7X, you can see the coil inside, you know, whenever it's in the motor and basket and it's playing. But with the older Solo X's, you can't. There's a mesh there, but you can't see it until it's moving. So you got to physically take it out. But again, like I said, the damage might not be on the outside only. It might also be on the inside. So that's something you got to look at. Let me see. Would you look at that? You just got to look at it at every angle. You truly do. 0 ohms. Ohmomatic. Man, that guy is awesome. I love him. I actually talked to him on Facebook Messenger. We're friends on Facebook. Not best friends. I didn't take him to my wedding or anything. Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Ashy with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Ashy, for the pennies.
I got pennies.
Shout out to our mate Dubby. Our mate Dubby, Explode's biggest fan. Of course. Thank you, Ashy. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for what you do. And, you know, Ashy, Dubby is the biggest Sony Explode fan. I don't think there is anybody that ever came close or comes close today. That is fact, not fiction. Thank you, Ashy. I hate when my gassy coil goes all slinky and slides right off. It scares my cat and breaks the internet. Not that slinky, the one that rolls down the stairs. I mean, that one could too, man. Those things were choke hazard, but they were fun. But you never want a slinky coil, regardless. You know, I've had one slinky. No, the first Solo X, this one behind me, just got a bullet hole in it. You know, just clipping. Too much power, too fast of clipping power, put a bullet hole right through it. And the second one, a Warhorse 10K, and that slinkied it. Too much power, too fast. I don't own a multimeter, but I hook my stuff up with my knowledge and safety. I don't clip. My gain is set low. Safe. Well, you might look safe, but it's up to the umpire. You know, I always try to explain to somebody, say, if you don't have... Oh, don't want to do that one. If you don't have any tool to set your gain, but if you're watching me get a multimeter, but even then, it might not be not clipping. The best way I can explain it is if you got your matched RMS and it's pretty close to what the subwoofer and amplifier both can do, and you're at that ohm, you know, say 750 RMS on an L7S at 1 ohm and it's a dual 2, you know, you're set at 1 ohm and you're good. The easiest way to just know that you're okay is don't play as loud as it can get, because you will keep getting louder even though you're clipping. So kind of think of it as like, okay, man, that's full tilt boogie. That's way too loud. I can just hear the subwoofer doing that noise, you know, just something. This doesn't sound perfect, or maybe it sounds fine, but you're clipping. And kicker amps don't clip as hard, but still, clipping is clipping. And, you know, you turn it down to Ugga Dugga, and you're like, all right, that's pretty loud still, but let me go down another one. Okay, now it's not as loud. So then try to go in the middle of that, just so that you're never always just pushing it to its limit. Now, every song's going to be different. You know, you could try that on a test tone, and I feel like if you're playing like rock music, you can get away with clipping a lot more because the bass isn't steady. It's just, you know, erratic. And all it is, you can clip your system all day. It's just how long you're doing it and at what power, because that just translates to heat. When the woofer just, you know, gets that clip power, the subwoofer stops moving. Like it just, okay, it does stop moving, because the sine wave is what makes the woofer go up and down. And it moves so fast, your eyes can't see it unless it's like 5 hertz, but that's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, you know what I mean? That's still moving fast. So whenever you're clipping, that woofer is kind of just hanging up there, and power is being put into the coil still, and it's not moving. How a speaker cools down is when it's moving. So if you're clipping at a low power and the coil's pretty big size, and it doesn't even matter. But it's like once you're like right there and then you start clipping and it's not moving and it's dumping a lot of power into the woofer, that is when you run into problems. It's really that simple, and it's just, you know, having responsibility of playing your system. If it sounds too loud, it sounds really good, take it down a notch. I'm telling you, your equipment will last a little bit longer. And I hope that helps, you know, because like I've tuned so much stuff by ear, you know, like I didn't have all the fancy equipment forever. I just didn't. I did not. Ashy in the house, thank you for tuning in. 25. Stuart, what is up? Thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you, man. I got your package. It's on its way. Well, tomorrow. It's ready. It is ready. I know they have a 7 and a 9-inch. Yes, they have the Kicker Street Series 7 and 9s, and those things are loud. And there are no drop-ins for those, but I mean, at a $200 price point, $100 per speaker, $200 for the set, it's really... Some of the components are more expensive. Some of the coaxials, well, maybe not the coaxials, but still, you get what I'm saying, and they don't have drop-ins for it. But, I mean, they could, but again, like I said earlier, that price might jump just for everybody, just so that it's, you know, oh, you can buy a drop-in for it, but not everybody is going to use it or need it or wants it. So it has to make sense. And at $200, I mean, if you blow one, it kind of does suck because you got to buy 2. They come in a pair. But, man, it's always nice to have a spare then, because then next time if something happens, you got an extra spare. You're okay. Thanks for tuning in, Jose. You get my message, 25 Discord. Handy, I'm out front. Let me in. Are you kidding me? Love you, John. He does live right down the road. Appreciate you, man. Oh, he's kidding me. He's kidding. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, it happens. Sometimes JR's banging on the door. I'm like, just go in the garage. Get what you need. You know, I have everything of yours in my garage. Love you. Love both of you guys. My T3 split at the surround. Oh, no. People keep saying that I clipped it. No, false. The real issue is that the surround is trash, and they don't do out-of-warranty repairs, nor do they sell surrounds or Recone kits. You know, when it comes to a surround, I've noticed that with you know, JL, W3s, you know, anything with a foam surround. Old school Solo X18 foam surround, the 03 edition, not the black ones here. And guess I could say this. They were thinking about doing a foam surround for the L7X, but it just moves way too far in physics. It's just not going to happen. So they went to the polypropylene, whatever, rubber surround. And what I'm trying to say is, even with yours, though, that should be a poly surround, or, you know, just rubber surround with it. And when they split or rip, like off the basket, 9 chances out of 10, you're playing past mechanical limit. Past X max, you're up to X mech. X mech is the physical limitation of the surround stretching and the spider stretching one way and up. So both ways. That's X mech, mechanical. Max is just how they decipher with the coil and just, you know, BL of how far it's out of the gap and just how that works and just, yeah. So X max doesn't really mean everything. X mech can kind of tell you some more stuff of just, you know, how much wind it's going to, how far it's going to go. You know, you're just playing a full tilt boogie, you know, who cares? A surround rips, it happens, right? And I've never had that happen yet. I can't think of a time where a surround has ripped on me just because, you know, even whenever I had Cookie Monster in a like 13 cubic foot box, okay, I ran into tinsel lead tears. Not a spider tear, not a surround tear, tinsel lead. That's old school. It wasn't sewn into the spider. These ones were old school. They kind of just went, boop, dropped down. Too short to go way past because I was playing way further than that driver ever should have. So anytime you tear something is from going past physical limitations over and over and over. It's like the plastic effect, you know. You got elasticity and then plasticity, and the plasticity is pretty much whenever you bend something over and over and over and over, it's going to snap. And that's kind of what happens. That, or, you know, I guess Mother Nature gets the best of it, wears down the rubber, depending if you got, like, say, if you got a hatchback. I know yours is pretty wide open back there. You know, the sun beating on it for a while can make it a little bit more brittle over time. There's a lot of factors. Now, how to fix it? Very hard. Very, very hard. Just because if you got, like, sewn in, you know, around the, here, well, these ones, yeah, right here. Sewn in stuff, you know, you can always put a new one on there. Like for circle subs, it's not too hard, but they don't just sell these surrounds. They don't even sell them for the kickers, the old school Solo X's. I haven't seen any square of the surrounds being sold separately. Now, with a round woofer like your T3, it probably would be a little bit easier. You could find something that works with, like, you know, the inner diameter of the cone here and your outer diameter of just, you know, landing point of the basket. So you could make your own, but again, it's like whenever somebody changes a coil and doesn't change anything else, you could be throwing off how that driver reacts entirely. And that could be bad news. Could be totally fine. And it could be not. So I would try to maybe find something that is similar, and you would have to actually, if it's sewn in, I'm pretty sure that T3 is sewn in. Most speakers are, not all of them, but most are. And I feel like that's where you could take that apart and put on a new one that's just generic. You can find them, high roll surrounds, different type of surrounds. I don't even know who to ask for that kind of question of what kind of surround to get. Maybe Blake here in the chat. You know Blake. I feel like he would be a person that I personally know that would be able to help you on that on a one-to-one basis. Because I feel like that's what you're up against if you're not going to be able to go with a warranty on the repair. That sucks. I'm sorry for you, Fi. Hope you're doing well otherwise, man. Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm not too far behind here. I'm wired with 0 gauge and did my big 4. You know, I feel like if you got a stock alternator, the big 3, 4, 5, what have you, isn't totally necessary right away. But if you got an alternator, it definitely, you need it. You don't want to have any bottleneck. Not that I'm not telling you don't do it if you don't have a high output alternator, but the gains are going to be pretty insignificant just because, you know, the alternator is only going to do so much power, and it's such a short run from your alternator to your battery That's the only problem with that. It's just, you know, there's not going to be much voltage drop. It's a short run. That clip will get past a filter and make a distinct sound. You know, and I feel like an amp guy might be able to tell you a little bit more about that, and it seems like you understand that with how amplifiers have crossovers and gate filters and all that kind of fancy stuff. That's above me, but all I know is clipping ain't good, the speaker ain't moving, and at that, you know, just very small amount of time, and it adds up. It really does. And I do feel personally that different amplifiers are a little bit rougher, or maybe it's just they clip harder. They go up to a higher THD, so maybe that's why it's more impactful. Like, man, don't clip on this amp, but I could clip on this one and it's not as bad. You know, and that's why there are differences, things put in place in the amplifier's design to make it do that more or less. Excuse me. That Versa must have like an 80 amp alternator, and yeah, some cars, man, they are just not blessed. They are not blessed. His 19 is a rock for Fosgate. After 2 years, it's trash for a $2,000 sub, man. You know, and that's, I feel like with anything in general, you know, you get what you pay for, but sometimes you almost don't. But again, it always falls down to how you use it, what it's designed to do. If you always play that darn thing within its parameters, you know, you never accidentally jumped out, you know, too far or what have you, whatever your situation is, 9 chances out of 10, you shouldn't have any issues. Like, you're going to run into your lemons and stuff, you know, if you just buy something overseas and it's like from, like, you don't know where you're buying it from and comes to your house and it's a dud, it doesn't even turn on, or, you know, the coil's scratching before you even play it. You're going to have that, but very seldomly. So it does come down to user, and I'm sad that happened, man. And I know we are all learning this together. You know, I do some dumb stuff too, and I've done a lot of dumb stuff in the past. I've got lucky sometimes. It's like, whoa, man, I almost did that, and if I didn't have this, I would have been screwed. You know, just little things like that. And yeah, $2,000 is a lot. It's a lot. It's all right, Fi. You know, I've been trying to get you with Kicker, and I'm never going to shove it down your throat, but I'm just saying, hey, now if you have an opportunity more than ever, now's the time. You just got to ask your wife first. You know, that's the harder choice right there. You know, when do I do that? Because it's going to happen. I just don't know when. 110 amp alternator on a CXA 1200.1 wired at 2 ohms. Would you look at that? Hey, it works, man. And, you know, 110 amps is plenty for the CX 1800.1, and it definitely works. It definitely works. Have a little battery in the back, you're good to go. Solo X, Solo X, Solo X. Thank you, Brett, for tuning in. Yeah, you know, I don't know. You just have to, hopefully it's not an oddball size. And if you looked at that T3 surround, that thing is like this. Eiffel Tower, you know, it's straight and tall. It's different. But still, I'm sure you can find something that works, you know, and I feel like there's just reasons why they make it that way. Just like how they have, like, you know, like the rib surround on the Solo X's, you know, there's reasons. They don't do it just for looks. Like, I'm sure they do some for looks, but when it comes to square corners, that's not for looks, but it looks good. You must have power windows, bro. Andy, I'm looking for a 100 amp 120 to 12 volt inverter, looking for good cheap one, man. I threw up that post today. Everyone's liking it. They're looking at it. Would you look at that power supply? I got that one for a song, and I feel like it doesn't really matter which one I tell you, other than just like car audio, you get what you pay for. But one note, look for pure sine inverter. If it doesn't say pure sine, don't even look at it, because it's going to be hard on your electronics. And guess what? It's putting out a clip sine wave. It's not a perfect sine wave, not clipped. But 100 amp to 120 to 12 volt. Oh, inverter. Okay, so you want to go the other way. You need the power supply, like I have for the dyno, to hook up to your car and give your car more power, or just have in your, you know, studio. Sure, Bobby got a Kicker studio. He just ain't showing us. but just in your house. And that is, I mean, the Amazon ones, you see it, it's Power Max, I think. That's what I run, and they're great. And sometimes you can get them on Woot I paid $85 for a 105 amp one. But the other ones I paid $225 from Brand X, $189 from Amazon. And like I said, the other one was like half off from Woot. But they work. I would not go with the Teraamps one just because reasons. But in general, power supply is a power supply, and it's not as much, oh man, does it have a sign? Like it's making DC power from AC. Just make sure one, it's regulated. Some are stuck at 13.8 volts. So just make sure you take a look at it when you're looking at them. Thank you for tuning in, Bobby. Different amplifiers clip very differently, and that's it, man. Whenever I blew this one up, it was on a Scar. God, no, don't say that. Shark, just as bad. A Shark Audio 3500. It had two APC LE 1500 audio pipes inside, internally bridged. And I had it at, 1 ohm, so each one of those amps were at half ohm. And well, actually, that was 2 ohms then. Still, because that was a dual 4. And I listened to people. And not enough people. That was a problem. And that's why it's like one of the bigger reasons why I do what I do, and I have a chip on my shoulder. People told me that the smell was from it breaking in. I am not lying to you. This is not a high temp coil, neither is this one is too, the L7X, and you don't smell that until you start getting hot. It's not a break-in smell. And anyways, I just kept going on it. I believe, you're putting power on it now. Just got to break in. No, that was my resin melting off, and then bullet hole through the side eventually. Either way, that one clipped very hard and took the life of a Solo X. No bueno. That's the one thing I pay attention to when testing up. Some clip really ugly, others just square off the wave. So I wonder how ugly it can get. Like, is this like prom, like 08, like, I don't know, like, well, for Blake, prom 2019. How ugly are we talking here? Love you, Blake. I appreciate you hanging out. And like I said, Blake is the guy to go to with that surround section question. I was surprised when I found out that my alternator put out that many amps, and with alternators, they're not just always dishing 110 amps. If it's 110 amp, they're just not. It's only going to dump out as much as with the internal resistance of the batteries and the difference between the voltage of the battery and the set point of the alternator. A lot of factors, but not really that many. And say you're, charging 14.4. We love 14.4. And you start your battery up, start your car, and it's like sitting at like 12.5, 12.6 because it just started. Lead acid, normal battery, normal car. And it's going to start dumping like maybe 30, 40 amps to get it to that 14.4. Now, if it's like at 11 volts, it's going to start dumping like 60, 70 amps, or maybe all the way to full tilt boogie of 100. It depends, that difference in between. So that's just something to think about whenever you're doing this stuff. And voltage drop, alternator's going to work more, That's why people love to, obviously get high output alternators, but also adjust that set point. One, so they can charge higher with lithium cells, but also the alternator will do more at a lower voltage, or, compared to having a lower set point, it's not going to do as much at that higher voltage. Just kind of how it works. It's like a balancing act. I want to make a little demonstration about it. I know other people have done it on bigger YouTube channels that just like do batteries and stuff, or just science. But I would like to do it myself just to show it, because car audio people think, man, I'm getting all that. No, you're not. Just like your watts, just like your music and your amplifier, you're not getting everything on that amplifier unless you wire down to the dirt and your music is test tone. That's the only way you're getting all that out of there, alternator. So you'd be surprised how much you're really doing when you're listening to normal music all over the place of your car. Let's see, a couple more questions and we'll little skedaddle, but when I upgrade my alternator, I'm getting an extra battery. That's why I asked a question last week. Knowledge is king, and it truly is, man. You can never know enough. Can never learn enough. When I upgrade the alternator and get an extra battery, yes. I would always run an extra battery in the back of your car if you got an amplifier back there. Do it. No questions asked. No questions asked. And the minimum depends what you're putting back there. But if you're putting like 1,000 watt amp back there, I mean, you can get away with pretty much any battery you put in the back, but nothing too small, obviously. But if you're talking 2,000-3,000 watts, you really got to start thinking, man, I can't put like this 33 or 50 amp hour AGM in the back of my car. It's not going to be enough. It'll work, but your voltage is going to drag, man. It's going to drop down to the 10s. So yeah, just do a little bit of due diligence. And with batteries, man, I wish I could write an encyclopedia about it, but I need to learn even more because there is so much into them. But just for like the common person buy, what do I need? What should I get? Here are some options, just stuff like that. We do love 14.4, Andy. Thank you for tuning in again. 25, all the voltages, I see 14.4 or 10.9 in my car, and I get a little smirk. Would you look at that? I'm not lying, man. It's an impression on my life. It always will be. I need the multimeter with the O-scope. He's pulling out with the doctor tools. Let me take a look at it. Let's see how much clipping you're actually doing. Getting my friend who does installs help me with the upgraded build. He has an O-scope. I mean, the O-scopes are the way, but you got to know how to use them. They're not that hard, but still, they can be. They can be difficult. I want an O-scope, like a dual band O-scope, so I can check phase. Other than that, I don't need it. But there's ways to check phase without that. There are ways, but you have to have two amplifiers that have phase adjustability, and you need to have at least a dual voice coil woofer and wire them out of polarity, and that's how you can check your phase entirely, which is pretty cool that you can do, and who needs all the fancy equipment. But still, it's nice to know just so you can look at it. All right. Extra battery versus capacitor. Thank you, man. This is a very good question. I feel like you guys always ask the battery questions at the end. I swear we should just make every show, last 15 minutes, batteries. But yes, I feel like it's, okay. You could have an entire car audio system with all capacitors. I've seen it done. They had a starting battery. That was it. And the entire back of the car was just super capacitors. And it worked. But then he would have to watch how long he demoed, how hard he demoed. If everything couldn't keep up, he would run out of juice eventually because they don't have much capacity. But if you got a lot of them, you get some capacity eventually. But to say which one versus the other, I feel like this. If you're going to go with lithium in your car, skip the capacitor. You don't really need it. Could it make things even better? Yes. Is it going to make things worse? No. But if you just add a capacitor and not a lithium battery, and you're stuck with just an AGM up in the front of your car and only the capacitor in the back, it's not ideal because all that capacitor do is just help the voltage stay steady for a little while, and then it's going to run out of juice. And the reason why I can do that is because it can discharge really fast without voltage drop. Batteries have voltage drop when you put a load on them, and there's lots of factors, but just get what I'm saying. There's just not enough in the tank to do that for a long period of time. So you kind of want to have one and the other. The AGMs, if you put that in the back with the capacitor, it definitely does work a lot better than not having a capacitor for a little bit stiffer voltage. But again, it depends if that battery in the back can continuously fill up the capacitor. It's not going to be able to. It's for those instantaneous bursts. Now, if you got a bunch of capacitors, again, it's like, okay, maybe you can do it for sine waves. And these capacitors are getting huge. The super banks, I got one under the hood just so I don't have to mix match lithium iron phosphate with AGM, and they're engine safe. It's not a battery. So I feel like you kind of want to do both of them, and I know everybody says that. Oh yeah, do both. Don't just do one. Or this local stereo shop back in the day said, oh, just throw a capacitor there, slaps the capacitor on there, stops the leaking. That meme. And stops the lights dimming. Yeah, kind of. But if you're playing test tone songs like we do, DJ Rusticles, and you like your bass, you know, Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, Wiz Khalifa, you know, right. And that kind of stuff, I would tell you, go with batteries. The capacitor is not going to excel at that for long. It's going to run out of juice. The battery, yes, it can't discharge as much, but with lithium nowadays, it's pretty close. Not that close because the C rate on capacitors is like in the thousands. But batteries are not. And they're, you know, anything from 1C to like 75C. I think that's the biggest I've seen. So there's a difference, but at what price of capacity? You're talking farads. You're not even talking an amp hour. I think it's like 0.01 amp hour is like a 500 farad capacitor. It's like nothing. It's nothing. You can look at the watt hours. I feel like you can kind of figure it out there. I think they're like 19 watt hours on like a big 500 farad capacitor with 6 3,000 farad capacitors wired in series. So you only got 500, but you know, watt hours are a thing, you know? I mean, I guess it would be like 2 or 3 amp hours, but still, you get what I'm saying. Like big Group 31 size super bank and the capacity of, you know, a little JYNXT. And that's a trade-off. But again, they have their place. They really do. And I love talking about them because capacitors, I ran one. I feel like everybody did. I don't see anyone running them now. Well, I do, but like not as much as it was before. Not as much. Thank you. Shoot Dog, I appreciate you with your questions, sir. Extra battery, at least an AGM. AGM for the win. Put a cap on it too. Just, I mean, you can never have too much power, man. I mean, it does have its place in cold conditions. It's better than AGM below 32, I'll tell you that. AGM and capacitor in the back with a start-up battery. Hey, you know, it works. I ran the quad box on that setup right there. Startup battery, AGM in the back, Group 31, 100 amp hour, and the U-Start 31. It worked. And then I watched the little capacity meter go, doo, 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 doo. You know, after like 10, 15 seconds of just full tilt boogieing, and then you just see me drop to like 11.5, you know? So it did do something. It did do something. John said, I'm heading home, Andy. We shall chat soon, my friend. Have a great night. Thank you for tuning in, John. I love you, buddy. This guy is awesome. He really is. Dear friend of mine. Thanks for hanging out. Be safe, sir. I'll talk to you. Build that reserve. You know, you need that, man. And the less reserve you have, the less that you can play past what your alternator can do. I'm going to be using a lithium battery with my upgrade. So should I have a lithium battery up front and in the trunk? Good question. I'm going to tell you this. No battery's good under the hood. Not a single one of them. Just because it gets really hot under the hood. Unless you got a like separate, like sectioned off area for your battery, like some newer cars kind of do, which helps the high temp. But AGM, lead acid, they're going to last longer not being under hood, under high heat extremities. Now, is it always that hot under your hood? Not when you're driving down to the store and you're going 30 miles an hour. It's quite cool. But if you're at a car audio show and you're not moving anywhere and you're just going full tilt boogie and your fan's kicking on and it's just getting hot and your alternator's getting hot and your batteries are getting hot because it's 85 degrees outside, which is making your alternator get hotter because your batteries are getting tireder. Any battery under the hood, if it's going to fail, it's going to fail in that kind of situation. And that's why people don't really push the lithium batteries under the hood, just because lithium is very strong. So if that's going to have an issue, it's going to be a lot different than a lead acid or AGM having an issue under a hood. You know, it's just less volatile. It just really is. Only if lithium is under hood safe. And again, even if it is, in those kind of situations, you know, eventually a man's going to crack. And that's what I'm saying. if you're driving it normal daily usage, you're never going to have an issue, especially with the ones under the hood safe. But if you're just sitting there at bass shows and you're just demoing, you're not moving, it's not going to cool off under that hood. It's just the heat's going to stay right there, and that's when you're going to have issues. Sodium in back. I like sodium too, man. You know, it's not the cheapest and it's not the most energy dense, but it's got a wide voltage range and it's going to be very plentiful in the near future. I mean, sodium's everywhere. It's out in the ocean. It's everywhere. It's in the whole entire world. Where's lithium? All in China. Well, they actually did find some lithium in Pennsylvania here, so maybe I can go pick some up. I don't know. Throw it in the trunk. You know. Oh, okay. Now what? Bobby, you hear that? Lithium ain't no good under the hood. I mean, no battery is. That's why I said it. No battery is good under the hood. No battery. My friend that does installs says one lithium battery would be fine. I mean, hey, we all got that friend that said, oh yeah, it'll be great, good, have fun, go down the road. Or a guy actually looking out for you. So, you know, if you're going to do that, do it with the ones that are from reputable manufacturers that say it's under the hood safe. 9.9 chances out of 10, you're never going to have an issue. But it's still, hey, Brad's going to post it up if it happens to you. He's going to take your photo you take and he's going to post it up on Facebook. I tell you what, Brad is awesome, and but he will exploit you. He will exploit you. So guys that you make under the hood factory batteries, make sure they're strong, you know, just make sure. Just make sure. Plus, we all want to be safe here. No, I used to always say alternator the wrong way. Alternator. I think he kind of sounds like that too sometimes. He has his, you know, rolling of the words. But no, that's on me. That's on me. I would talk too fast and be like, oh yeah, and then you got to get the alternator, you know? That's it. Thank you, car audio enthusiast. Appreciate you, man. Going like a champ over 2.5 years in the Vegas heat. 25. I am prematurely wearing the I am likely prematurely wearing the battery, though. I also had issues this past winter with just starting the truck. You know, if it's not starting the truck and you just have that, yeah, I think you just have that one Titan RS Power S5. And that's it. I know you're not running out of cycle life. I would check your connections. And, man, I would take a look at it, Bubba. I would take a look at it. You know, whenever it's sitting one of these days, let it sit overnight, check the voltage. See what it's sitting at. If it's like 12.5, well, it should be 13 for that one. 13 flat for the power, 12.4 for the reserve, but you're using the power, so it should be sitting around 13 volts, you know, just sitting there. I don't know, man. It happens, you know, again, with that high heat, you're going to degrade the cells a lot faster. You know, it's just heat and cold are the killer of so many things. You know, it just, this whole world, man, it's the circle of life. It just melts back together. I don't know. We'll get you going, Bubba. We'll take a look at it, and appreciate you being here, sir. The proper way to pronounce alternator is Sony Explode. Yes. The air coming off the radiator is at least 220 Fahrenheit. AC can boost it higher. Under the hood temps can be really high. I don't trust those under safe lithium batteries. You know, and like that's what I'm saying. It's just lithium batteries in general are more volatile. They're more prone to issues because they have so much power. That's the thing. So when you're going to have an issue with something that's stronger, it's going to be a stronger boom. You know, that's the way to look at it. And just with the chemistries and how all that stuff works. But still, an AGM under that kind of situation too is going to not handle the heat. And same thing with lead acid. Take a look at it, man. You keep that battery under the hood of lead acid. Under the hood, 140 degrees all the time. It's going to start swelling quick. It's not going to make that 5-year warranty. It's not. It's not. It's every battery, man. It is every battery. And, right. Let's see. The cold cranking amps, though, that's the biggest load on the battery will take. Wouldn't that be little harmful on the Titan 8s, you know, and that's the thing. I would look, they do have crank amps on the Titan 8. I think that one is 1,000 amps crank amps on the Power S5 under hood one. Yeah, it's 1,000 amps, and it's actually, no, 750, I think. Well, cold cranks or crank amps is down to like 8 volts. So, oh, would you look at that? Thank you, Eric. So, down to 8 volts, yeah, sure, 9 volts, it'll do 1,000. But down to like, you know, 11, give or take, it's gonna do 750 amps. That's its rating, 75C, 10 amp hour. But still, yeah, you know, starting that battery over and over and having nothing else than that, yeah, it probably could take a little bit of life away from it, over discharging it, and being a bigger truck. I don't know. I think it should be okay. But either way, I would definitely take a look at it and take a look at those connections, Baba. Take a look at the connections. Thank you so much, Eric. Would you look at that? And it is Friday. We got to throw this one. Actually, no, we're going to throw this one up too.
I don't care what you say about kickers. This guy is a difference maker.
Thank you, Eric. That means so much, man. Andy, with the wisdom as always. And hey, I am just learning and trying to feed you guys the information to the best of my abilities. And I thank you for supporting the channel to keep this thing just going, man. You know, with what I do in this show and the time it goes into it, it's a blast. It really is. And enough to keep the lights on, that's all I ask for every time. That's it. Hey, if I can get a couple extra kickers, hey, I ain't complaining. But it all goes right back into the channel. And thank you guys so much for supporting. Thank you, Eric. Means the world. And thank you for just hanging out, tuning in, and just listening. 750 ain't much, Andy. It's a tiny battery. It's a tiny battery. The Titan Power 5, sorry, if I say 6, Jake will get too happy. Right, it's 750 amps. Really, I think it's about 500 amps continuous on that battery. But still, that's 7,500 watts at 10 volts. So that's a lot of power. It is a lot of power. That is a lot of power. Okay, cool. Don't expect any of the non-lithium batteries to last over 3 years at best, and that's it, man. Batteries do not do good in heat, and people saying it's just lithium batteries that are not good under the hood in heat. It's not the only case, man. It's just a little bit more, ooh, man, if something does go bad, it's going to be a little bit worse. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate you. Check your DMs 25. Take a drink every time says, look. Well, you got to look at it. So, yeah, if you look at it like that, then, yeah, look at that. Thanks, Scott. Oh, man, you know, I love these shows. And we went over a little bit, but, hey, I wanted to hang out with you guys just because I'm not going to be back until July 26th. It's going to be on a Friday. So make sure you hang out then. But tune in to the Kicker UnMasked show. I'll be tuning in. I'm heading down to Myrtle Beach. Regardless, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. All the Green Team members tuning in, being here. I love you guys. And try to stay living loud. Be safe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. And as always, stay living loud. Love you guys.
Right? You know what that means. We living loud.
just gotta ride the EAC, dude. Pet shell, man. Thank you guys. I will not touch the butt, aka the boat. Love you. Thank you guys for always tuning in. And yeah, 2 weeks, no live. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Garrett, you're a little late.
Livin Loud Recone.
Just a little late.
Would you look at that?
What was that? We got something. Cornut with a $4 super chat. Love you guys. I will see you in 2 weeks. Stay living loud.